Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Hi, sweet friends. I just love recording podcasts for you. And I'm so excited for today's episode, which is a brand new makeover on the Daily Check-In. You guys might know this resource. It's basically like a free Google Doc form of journaling. I have these 5 or 6 things that I check in on every single day, or as often as I can in my life and business. And I've made it over. I've made some updates to it. We have the Daily Check-In 2.0. So I'm going to share it with you because I feel like it's probably the number one thing I do in my life in order to create consistent results, consistent income. So let's dive in. Okay, so if you are listening to this podcast in real time, next week we are doing the Steady Income Challenge. If you know me, you know I love a live challenge. I love live coaching with you, and so I hope you join us in the free challenge next week. But it really got me thinking around, what do I do to get steady results, steady income, steady growth year round, even as a single mama when my life can be rather inconsistent, that my schedule changes, my kids change, like so much can change. And yet how have I, for the last 8 years, grown my income year after year and grown my client load and in a way that's been super sustainable. And I really feel like this is one of the quote secrets, even when I'm in a season right now where I'm just meeting with my business coach one time a month, right? I'm in a season right now where I'm not actively meeting with my therapist. I've really, of course, been in seasons where I've met with my coach and therapist every week, but I'm really in a chapter of not. And how I still sustain that result is I have a wild habit around self-coaching, and that is my daily check-in. If you know me, I don't love the idea of journaling. It just seems like, as a busy mama, and it just seems like one more thing to do. And so if I think about sitting down to emotionally process, my brain subconsciously is like, hard no. I don't even have margin for my own thoughts. And so the sneak attack that I've given myself into that is just called the daily check-in. So I tell myself, okay, Anna, you don't need to journal. You don't need to do anything intense. You just need to check in with yourself on these 6 key areas every day, 10 minutes, no problem. And it's a little portal, right? And I think so often when we have a blank slate, it can feel overwhelming. But when we have fill in the blanks, it's really doable. So this is what I've done. And then it's a really cute portal in, because on a busy day, I'm just spending 10 minutes on it. But on a day when I have more time or need more processing, once I'm in it and once I'm reflecting, it feels so good. And I spend an hour doing it. There I am for an hour, just like you would with a therapy session or with a coaching session, but really spending that CEO self-coaching time that is so precious, right? We listen to podcasts for an hour. We watch Netflix for an hour, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when's the last time you listened to yourself for an hour? Listen to your own inner voice. And if you haven't done that for a while, I get that can feel overwhelming, or like the floodgates might open, but you can trust yourself with your voice and with your truth. So let me talk through some of the updates I've made, and then I'll dive into the main premise of the daily check-in, because I feel like it's been years since I've talked about it. And then I want to share one of the main parts about the daily check-in is wins. So I just want to share with you some of my wins from the last quarter that I'm celebrating. Hopefully it inspires you. And I'm just super pumped about this. I would love for you to email me though today and let me know if you do the daily check-in, if you already do my daily check-in, or if you do some version of it, right? The point is to do 10 minutes of mindset work every day in your business so that you have a little bit of control over your vibration, over your energy levels, that we're not letting the world dictate how we feel, that we are being proactive in doing some science-backed methods to make ourselves happy every day. Research shows us that feeling gratitude and expressing gratitude literally, scientifically makes us happier. It does. It's why I start every single coaching call with that, with my clients, with my group clients. But it really is within your power to have that discipline to spend 10 minutes a day doing something that makes you happy. It might be this daily check-in, but it might be something else. It might be going on a walk. It might be going on a swim. It might be meditating. It doesn't matter what it is, but it does matter that you are spending 10 minutes on yourself every day, especially if you feel like you don't have the time or space for it, right? And I can talk about what I do too on days when I feel like I don't even have 10 minutes. So actually, let me quickly first say the premise of the daily check-in, right? So here's the 6 sections. The first section is pour it out, and that's just a little brain dump to just express how you're feeling. I don't think we give ourselves permission to say how we feel. We so quickly dismiss it, right? Maybe you're feeling angry about something. Maybe you're feeling excited about something, but we tell ourselves, oh, I shouldn't feel mad about that. It's silly. Everyone deals with that. Or I shouldn't feel too excited about this because I feel bad because my sister-in-law doesn't have this privilege and I feel guilty. Stop with the disclaimers and just allow yourself to feel. Doesn't mean you're going to be taking action from that place, but I don't think we allow ourselves that outlet, right? I think this beautiful thing, one of my kids told me this weekend, been working with one of my kids on not screaming, and this child came to me and said, Mom, I think I need my daily scream. And went into their room and screamed in their pillow. And I'm like, that's so smart, right? And this child I know is going to be either a public speaker or a singer someday because they just have a beautiful, powerful voice. But we know it can be a double-edged sword, right? Whatever our super gift is. But I love that proactive idea of even before the day hits me, I'm going to pour out whatever I'm thinking or feeling or needing to express, and I'm not going to make myself wrong for it. And often there's no action step from that part. I'm just able to vent and be like, this thing is really hard in my life that I'm facing, or I'm really upset about this, or that thing really pissed me off. Just a few sentences expressing how you feel. It feels so good, I promise. Okay, next part is really making sure that you are really getting clear on what you want to affirm. What are your goals and putting them in an affirmation? So if you want to have 10 paying clients, the affirmation can be, I have 10 aligned clients, right? If you're wanting to make 30K months, then it would be, it's safe for me to make 30K months while still working 3 days a week and having plenty of time for my family, whatever it is, right? These are our goals that we're turning into affirmations so that every single day we're reminded of that goal. Every single day, good day, bad day, hard week, good week, busy week, empty week. We're keeping it top of mind, whether it is a affirmation, we're saying it out loud. I love having mine on a little visual board in my little meditation corner, but really every single day reminding yourself, this is the thing I'm working towards, and keeping it top of mind will keep your action in that direction. Oh yeah, I want that thing, right? I better make that a priority. Next is making sure that you are listing out your gratitudes. Again, I think a gratitude practice is so powerful. I'm writing down, I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for, my kids. Often my gratitudes are a repeat. Who cares? Next, I write down my wins, especially on a hard day, asking yourself, what am I doing well? What am I doing right? What have I accomplished? Yes, I have these new things I want to accomplish, but what can I first celebrate that I've already done? And for high achieving women, this is the hardest part of the check-in. But I want you every day to write down, these are 5 things I'm proud of myself for. If you do it in the morning, you can always write it for the day before, right? Maybe it's just as simple as, I got up out of bed today when I wanted to stay in bed, right? And I put my makeup on and I got ready for the day, even though I was really struggling. Giving yourself 5 wins is so, so, so important. Okay, and speaking of wins, here are some of the wins that I listed that are my favorite wins from the last quarter, and literally I forgot that some of these things happened. One of the things that I'm most excited about is with my personal assistant, we made a little system for the health insurance that I use is a really, really great deal for me, but has a lot of paperwork. And so we made basically a business system, but for my personal life, and it has smoothed things out. And I just think as ambitious women, we need to give ourselves permission to not just systematize our business, but for me, I don't have to remember to take out the trash because I have a reminder that comes up on Tuesdays that tells me to do that, right? less in our brain and more systematized so that we feel supported. Another win is I had the biggest launch of my mastermind yet and have an amazing group of women that I welcomed in. I also got an amazing result from the last challenge I did running Facebook ads. You guys know I love organic marketing as the base, but I'm at a point now where I'm sprinkling on some Facebook ad magic, and I have been learning with a mentor Facebook ads in the last 6 months, and I'm really starting to see incredible results, and I'm so excited about it. Also getting into a good rhythm. I've been 6 months with my beautiful new OBM, Lauren, and that has been the biggest blessing, but of course, always a transition. So it's just been a really nice thing to know that we are settled in. I also hired a new nanny to support me in the evenings with our whole bedtime routine and everything like that. So that's been a big blessing. I also have got through my skin cancer situation. Very abrupt and frightening, but that resolved. It was completely removed, but that was a whole situation. Had to take some time off and reschedule client calls, but everyone was so understanding. So that's a win, is getting through that. Also celebrating, got back into doing Instagram Reels and balancing the organic stuff with the paid marketing. I also did super great at my daily check-ins. I checked in so often, even on days when I only had time to do the pour it out, but I really got consistent. I started my kids on some new sports that they had been wanting to get into, fencing and basketball. More on the fencing later. And I got a new car. You guys, I forgot that I bought a brand new Tesla until I looked back at my wins. So I am so thankful for the life that I've created. And even on, quote, what felt like a slow quarter to me, I'm still accomplishing so much. So I hope that is the nudge, and you give yourself permission to list your beautiful wins. Okay, next is priorities, and I really write down the 3 or so main priorities that I need to focus on that day. You guys know I love my Google Calendar so much, and so I look at my Google Calendar and I really sometimes will write out a little agenda reminding myself like what clients I have on the calendar today. I look at Basecamp where I have my to-do list and write down the most important things that I need to focus on today so that during my limited work time while my babies are in school, I'm not getting distracted. I am just doing the most important priority things. So I use this as a priority list, but I also kind of use it as like a little calendar reminder, and I often keep it pulled up on my desktop just so I can remember what clients I'm seeing and what I have going on. I am someone that is over time turned into someone who's very present, which is good as a coach, but the downside to that is it can make me very forgetful. If I don't write down birthdays, I do not remember them, right? And so I really have to have visual cues for myself to keep on top of my agenda for the day. And then finally, last but not least, the section is prayers, or I call it surrender. Whatever it is for you, yes, we want to do our part and take action and affirm things into the world. But for me, it's so important that I'm feeling like I'm going to do my part, but I'm trusting the universe with the rest, right? I'm going to show up and take my actions, but there's some things outside of my control that I just have to surrender and pray for, right? So it might be something I'm feeling challenged for personally with my health, something I'm wanting so badly in my business, but I know that I can only do so much. And I love this part where you can write your prayers, the things that you want to surrender, the things that you want to release, the things that you would love to call in and are asking your higher power guidance and support on it. For me, it's just such a nice way to end the check-in, because I feel like now I get to go conquer my day, but I know I'm divinely guided in it. I know I'm not alone. I know that I am being held, of course, by my friends and my family, but also by my higher power, by God. Okay, so that was a quick summary. If you've never done the daily check-in before, or hopefully a good recap for you, some of the things that I have adjusted in the daily check-in 2.0, I used to recommend that you basically duplicate the Google Doc I give you and you do a fresh Google Doc every month. But what I noticed for myself is I really did a fresh Google Doc every quarter. For some reason, I really like doing a new one every quarter or every 3 months or so and having more check-ins in one. I've just enjoyed. So do what works for you, but I really like that. I've also really enjoyed taking out the dates on the dock and just numbering them and writing the dates as I go. I try to do the daily check-in every day. I would say I have about like an 85% success rate, but every few days I won't do the daily check-in on my Google Doc. I'll either like jot a quick note on my phone, or sometimes I'll just do it in my head. I'll literally list gratitudes as I'm driving. And so because of that, I don't want a ton of empty space in my check-in. And so I just number my check-in now. And then when I go in to do it, I'll write the actual date on there. And then I don't make myself wrong or quote feel behind because there's all this blank space, right? Another thing I do that I've kind of always done but I've never had on the template is when I start a new document. So whether it's at the start of the month or at the start of the quarter, whenever you're ready to start a fresh check-in Google document, I love to do some bigger picture reflecting. The first thing that I do is I look back at my last document and I look at all of the wins that I wrote down from the last month or the last 3 months, and I pick my favorite ones. And this is a powerful moment. I just did this recently and I was like, oh, I don't even know if I'm going to find any wins because it's kind of been a wild quarter for me health-wise and personally. I'll share more of that in a second. And literally as I was looking over the wins, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I forgot that I did some of these. Like, these are big wins. We literally, as ambitious women, I think somehow biologically block out the good things we do and are always in the state of like, we need to go on to the next goal. And so this is just such a spiritual practice for me of really honoring the past work that I've done, really celebrating and thanking God for what He supported me on to get to where I'm at today, really honoring myself for what I busted my booty about, right? So I look at my wins and I write down my favorite 10 wins or so. I don't really limit myself. And then I do a fresh desire dump. If you've been in my mastermind before, you know that we have this practice where you basically write down the things in life you're wanting. What are the things you've been meaning to try? Whether it's in business, launching new programs, whether it is personally starting new hobbies, whether it is something in your marriage or in your motherhood, something in your personal life. So I do a little desire dump. Often that will become my affirmations, and I create some key affirmations that I want for the next month or 2 or 3. And this helps me day to day. If I'm not in a high vibe affirmation mood, I can just copy and paste the affirmations for that chapter. And then finally, something I do is ask myself, what are the rhythms I really want to get into in the next month or 2? Right now, I'm being really religious about getting more sleep. And so I am tracking the amount of sleep that I am getting just so that I can be aware of it. Like, what we track is so useful, right? Whether, if you're my mastermind, I help you track your selling hours so you can make more money, right? So I'm a big fan of like not tracking too many things. If we have a habit tracker and there's like 9 things, we're not going to do any of them. And so really asking yourself, what are the 1 or 2 rhythms? Like for me, I regularly exercise. That just happens. So I don't need to be tracking that, right? I already eat pretty healthy. I don't need to be tracking that. But if you're someone that, is feeling challenged in getting outside and going on walks, that might be your thing. So picking 1 or 2 rhythms that you feel like would really serve you and writing it down. So that's why I wrote down for me the sleep one. And also I'm working on getting back on some vitamins and supplements. Okay, so those are some of the things I added at the start of the month as reflections, and I have been loving it, and it's such a fun record looking back. And again, it really serves as such a beautiful daily way to really tune in. And really, once you're in the habit of it, it does not take long, you guys. It really can take 5, 10, 15 minutes, and it will consistently make you happier, more focused. It's basically like getting a coaching session every single day, right? Every single day, and not letting the world dictate how you feel. You're really able to approach the world and your life and your family from a high vibration place because you've checked in with yourself first. And I know this can be so hard when you are, especially if you are, caring for young ones. And if you're a mama and you have young kids, something I recommend to my clients is just really simplifying the daily check-in, where you just pick 2 parts of the check-in to do every day. Maybe it is just a gratitude practice and just listing your wins, right? Maybe it is just a pour it out section and just the priority section. You pick the 2 of the 6 that you feel like are the most essential to you. do those two, and then if you have time, doing the other ones, right? But I really think it's like a menu, and the cool thing is it's a fun habit. So if you need to, you can always add on, right? When I've been in seasons of really big grief and loss, like during my divorce or other times, I have also added a seventh thing, and that is asking myself where on the stages of grief I am and reflecting on sadness or anger, whatever stage of grief I felt on that day, right? So really customized. I would start with the 6 and really try that for at least 10 days. And then you can always customize it from there to something that feels good to you. But